physics regents on Tuesday. I told him finish strong. I said on August 22nd, your next journey will begin at Fred, which is Fredonia, for anybody that doesn't know that. Although it will be hard not having you around, when I go to bed at night, walk down the hall, I'll look in the door and I won't see him. I know this is the right path for your life to lead right now. 40 years ago, I had my graduation party, and an Aunt Lucy, my grandfather's, Papa Pete's sister, sat down with me off to the side. I was with just her and I, and she said something to me that I've always said to everybody. Anybody going on in life, graduating school, could be anybody's son or daughter. She said to me, Tim, don't let a few bad days ruin all the great and happy days to come at college. Stay the course and it'll all work out. And it's true. Don't go somewhere, whether it's college, life, you move somewhere for a job, don't let a couple of bad days, missing home, being homesick, be the reason that you turn around and come back and give up on your dream. With Jack, it all began on November 16th, 2000, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jack Howard Irwin entered this world. Was the best day of my life. A couple of days we spent in the hospital. I always remember getting up, walking to the nursery. He'd be in his little bin, I call it. I'm sure there's a real word for that.
Bassinet.
But that little bin. There were 3 or 4 other babies in there, and Jack was by far the best looking baby in there. And he was the best behaved baby too. I'd pick him up and they'd put him on this little wheelie cart, and I'd wheel Jack throughout that whole little hospital wherever they let me go within that maternity ward. And I was just so proud, showing him off, driving him around. Maria's in bed, she can't go anywhere. And it was just so cool. I was such a proud dad. I remember bringing you home, learning to crawl, your first bath, your first haircut, the first time you ever walked, first day at preschool, first day at school, first Little League game, first hockey game, first high school game. Oh, and don't forget his first mohawk.
Classic Jack. Bring it back.
Jack played 3 sports, soccer, baseball, and hockey. The first 2 were short-lived, and once he got into hockey. He lived and lives hockey to this day. He breathes hockey. He loves hockey. This year, leading up to his last high school hockey game, him and I were driving, and I asked him what were his greatest moments. And he named a bunch of them. And they're all mine, too. But they won't.
No, it's pretty good.
Kidding me?
Yeah, she was bringing it back.
Just tell her I'll
I
call her right
ignored
back. That's what she gets for not being here.
Dr. Collins, please.
Oh, it's definitely.
It's like a movie teacher.
All right.
Love you, Jenna.
Those are my highlights too. But my list was different than him. I remember helping him get dressed before his games, tying his skates, and some of the hockey people in here can remember. You know, it was pretty cool when you used to be able to go in there and help him get dressed, and then you tied her skates, and all the other dads are in there, you know. And then that went away, and that was a sad day. I remember when I couldn't go in the locker room, and he could do his skates and all that. I used to take all his hockey uniform and his warm-ups and socks and everything, and I used to lay it all out on the recliner for the night first. So when he got up in the morning, that's all the stuff that was there. It was just something different because I couldn't be in the locker room. I remember crashing with him at night because when Jack was little, I used to go in and give him a kiss. And he'd roll over and say to me, I saved a spot for you, Dad. And I had to sleep with him every game night. Well, I couldn't do it anymore. Won't even let me in his room. I said, the early morning drives we used to make to away games. It'd be just me and him a lot of times. And I'd look over and there's a little guy sitting in his warm-ups. And we're off to wherever we're going. Rome, Utica, could be anywhere. To an away game. the best one, and I'm sure was for Maria too. The game of hockey, the best thing about the game of hockey is when that door opens up and all those little guys come out for warm-ups, there's nothing beats that. He comes skating around, he looks at you, he gives you the beady eyes as he goes around. I says that was, what a rush that was. Later on in Jack's hockey career, his character of what type of person he is, I've watched a lot of sporting events with both my kids and been involved in a lot of sporting events. One thing I could say, Jack, you're a fierce competitor, but the thing that always stands out to me is how far and how good of a sportsman and how much sportsmanship you show to everyone on the ice, including players from the other team. I used to watch Jack skate up to an opposing goalie after he made a great save, and he'd tap him on the pads, and I used to say, "What'd you say?" So I told him, "I saved." You know, he has so many good friends from other hockey teams. There was one here tonight, or that you guys met today. Justin used to play spring hockey with him. He's from Webster, and they still stay in contact. He has other friends from out there too. No matter what the score was, win or lose, at the end of the game, you look out, and you meet at the center of ice with the people that he used to know. They'd be out there to chat, hug, or take photos. I can remember there was a big game in Fulton, and we hadn't beat Fulton all that entire for the last 2 years, and we had tied them in the first game, and we beat them in the second game. And when they all went through this handshake line, now the other team obviously is dejected that they lost this tournament. It was a big game. And I watched as they went down that handshake line, and every single kid from the Fulton team went down and shook hands with everybody else. But every single one of them, when they got to Jack, stopped and gave him a hug. And I thought, wow. And I think Dad was at that game. And I thought to myself, there's what it means to how you touch other people, that you play with and you get to know. They all shook everybody else's hand and said, "Good game." They stopped and gave Jack a hug. I've always told Jack, I always told Jack and Jenna, be good to everybody. Be friends with as many as you can. I told him I would rather be known by my classmates and my peers as a great kid with a lot of friends than to be the most popular. Jack, I'm so darn proud of you today, of the man you become. The memories that you have given me are enough for a lifetime, and I can't wait for the future memories. I always say to my kids, you have no idea how much I love you. That someday when you have children, you will realize what Dad was talking about. You will smile and realize how great it is and how much you love them. Jack, I love you more than words can describe. Thanks.
But then he had Jenna, and then it all went away.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, put the music back.